if you must have an opinion, is your opinion helpful, or is it there to just make someone feel worse? If it's there to make someone feel worse, have your opinion and keep it to yourself.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all have our own point of views. We'll always have something to say about another thing. So the question here is, whatever you're saying, is it a good thing? Is it a positive message? If it's positive, then by all means share, because we need upliftment. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today at Riverdale. We're all about our stories, and we have amazing guests for you. You must have heard of them, you must have seen them somewhere. And thank you so much for sharing your stories, because most people will not look at it from a self-worth perspective. They'll not look at it from, I'm struggling with this. Every single morning I have to wake up, I have to smile, I have to go to work, I have to be strong for my partner. My partner and I are the ones going through this, you know. We've got judgment from the family, judgment from society, judgment from friends. And self. And you got judgment from self. Okay, so how exactly are you all supposed to cope? You know, that's the question everybody asks. And it's a silent battle, because not many people want to openly talk about some of these struggles. Why? The stigmatization behind it. Yeah. Have you ever had to go through any stigmatization that you can recall on your journeys?
Ooh, yeah. The whole thing, mostly in an African setup, is stigmatization. It defines stigmatization. And just like you mentioned, it's from all over. But I think there are moments when people look at you and don't see your worth, or even the comments that have been thrown at me, or suggestions that have been made to my husband to get another wife. See, it makes you look at yourself like, Kwani, I'm not a wife, I'm not wife enough, or what's with me? So stigmatization is something we are still dealing with now, because it's real. Like in the trust, we have women who've been kicked out from their marriages. The last one I was talking to mentioned that she was told she was just filling the toilets, like just eating and filling the washrooms. And you're wondering, surely she is a woman, she has her own image, she has her self-worth. But see what society is doing to destroy that. And sadly, we believe such things, and they're said so many times we believe them. And I like that you're talking about the mental aspect of this, because I think it has also affected me directly. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. It's a hard topic to discuss.
It's a hard topic because it's very. I feel like it's still very hush-hush in our society. So people who are struggling don't have safe spaces to say that we are struggling, and you're constantly just taking it in. Whatever people have to say to you, you're taking in. I thank God that for me, my immediate person, my husband, was and is still a very supportive person, so I never had to deal with that, and he did the best he could to protect me from external pressure. But, there are spaces he couldn't protect me from. If I run into somebody at the mall or at church, he might not be there. And, there was stigma from, I remember somebody telling me, you need to hurry up and have children because there are certain endorsements and brand endorsements you'll never get as long as you're not a mom. And I thought, and I remember thinking, because this person was heavily pregnant as they were telling me that, and it really broke me because I thought, you don't know anything about me, you don't know my journey, you don't know what the struggle has been like. And I think what I experienced mostly was just a lot of careless words from people. And the thing is, it's not always from a malicious point. Most people say, I didn't mean anything by it, I was just concerned. But they don't realize, and even surprisingly sometimes, it's people who have walked that journey, who, once they cross over, they forget how difficult it was, and they're now asking you, so how long, and giving you all sorts of solutions. You should just try, because maybe IVF worked for them. You should just try IVF, and not realizing that IVF worked for you doesn't necessarily mean it will work for me. And two, it doesn't mean it's an option I want to explore, because fertility is such a personal journey. So I think that we need to, I like the spaces that Hadassah has created, and even for myself on the socials, it's having those conversations, as uncomfortable as they are, for the sake of the people who are constantly being silenced because of it. And when we talk about fertility, most of the times, if it's on a couple, it's usually the woman who's targeted. And the truth is, it's almost a 50-50% of men also contributing to infertility. And sometimes you're attacking a woman, it could be the man who has an issue. And then because the men are also stigmatized so much, so we might find it easy to talk, the men might not find it as easy to talk. So then the whole mental aspect. So I feel like the stigma has just it paralyzes the whole process in such a big way. Yeah,
that's actually very, very true. Because to be quite honest, there are not enough safe spaces for men. Like women, we have a habit of talking to anyone. If we get a point to talk, we will talk. But what about our men? Because they are struggling as well. They are the spouses at the end of the day. So it's not just affecting you, the woman, as much as the bulk of the stigmatization may be going to the woman. I'm sure the men are also kind of getting some backlash or getting some comments, like, why haven't you become a father yet? We utaanzisha familia lini, things like that. So question is, like, do we put it out to society? Like, as a society, what are we doing to be, gentle, to be accommodative, to show concern, to be kind? Because even if we are using statements that are coming from good places, are we actually taking a moment to ask ourselves, what impact does this statement I'm about to use have? What impact does it have on this person? Because this is their journey, this is their struggle. Am I making it worse by saying something? Or am I trying to comfort or be there or to support? So how exactly do I do that as a member of society? Question to everyone out there, because there's so many people struggling with infertility at the moment. And you see, mental health is not just, I'm struggling with this. It is, how is society responding to my struggle? Am I being supported? Am I being made to feel worse? If I feel like I need to vent, will they pick up that I'm venting because I'm a person who's tired, or am I venting because I'm struggling with something? Does all my expressions, are they defined by my struggle, or are they defined by who I am? And most of the time people don't take that into consideration. Is if you're in a state of agitation, you're in a state of questioning yourself already, where you're struggling with what the hand that life has dealt you, and you feel like there's nobody who you can lean on, or even the people that you're choosing to lean on are not responding the way you want them to respond. When you act out, or when you express yourself, are you expressing because you're being defined by infertility? Or are you, just expressing because you're tired, you're fed up, you're angry, and you just want to shout? Or you just want to be quiet? Or you just want to, Have you had instances where people have judged you wrongly because of how you've chosen to express yourself?
All the time. Like, well, we do what we do. We know there are people who don't take it kindly.
Yeah.
I don't know if this happens to you, Kamba, but sometimes when I talk about my fertility struggle, the times I've posted and deleted at the same time, I'm just thinking, I'm tired about talking about this, yet we have to continue creating awareness. And honestly, it's not about everyone else's things. It's about my view too. So it's a struggle, I'd say I have. And mostly the first time we went public with our story, there's a lot of bashing. There are people who asked my husband to talk me down, just ask me to stop up all this nonsense. Actually, someone said to stop all this nonsense of publicity. And I thought, it is my story. I'm the one who knows exactly what I'm feeling and why I'm doing this. It took a lot of soul search. So it happens every day.
And I feel like, sometimes at the times I'm like, someone like Hadassah is so brave with her story that she's, laid herself bare to help other people. I've been on a journey where I've had to process so much of what my journey has been like that sometimes I feel like I'm either holding my cards very close to my chest because of how I've seen stories like Hadassah and I guess it comes back to that stigma where I'm like, if I share this detail on my story, it will be used against me, and I'm like, it's bad enough that I had to deal with it. So for me, I really pace myself in giving my story. I'm still yet to ever give details of what my journey was like or has been like. But I've had many of those moments where I'm like, do I take down this post? And I was talking about something slightly different the other day. I was talking about pregnancy because I'm pregnant. And I was saying these are some of the things as a pregnant woman I don't appreciate when people say or people do. And for the most part, other women who opened up and gave their own things that they don't like. And then there were people who are like, oh, so you guys don't want us to ask you anything, so you guys don't, there's this attitude going on, so we should not even say congratulations, and they go to the other extreme. So even when you talk about fertility and we are saying stop asking couples when they're having children, stop asking them when they're having another child because it's secondary infertility, stop asking these questions. It's not your business, even as a family member, unless I come and confide in you. Let me be, because there's also people who are childless by choice. But we assume everybody is struggling, and I feel like if I am expressing something as a woman or as a person walking the journey of fertility or infertility, what I'm saying should be valid. You should hear me out. You don't necessarily have to agree with it. You might not even understand it, but it's valid. And I wish we could acknowledge one another's journeys without always wanting to water them down. Because that's the thing. I feel, people talk about miscarriages and you see people telling them, why do you keep talking about dead babies? Things like that. Yeah, you've heard that. And it's very hurtful for the people walking those journeys. That's another way of just constantly silencing people. So let somebody express themselves, let them feel what they're feeling. Even if you don't get it, let them feel what they're feeling. And then just being very slow with our words. There are posts that I read, I have a lot to say, but I'm like, maybe this is not the post for me to say something. You don't have to have an opinion on everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can just read and scroll, you know? But many times we get caught in that saying the wrong things by feeling like we have to contribute to everything that we read or see. Yeah.
It's true. You actually don't have to have an opinion about everything.
Ministry of silence. Just shut up.
Yeah.
I call it SU. Show up, shut up.
Yeah.
Like read, just scroll.
Yeah.
Let it pass. You don't have to comment on everything, really. Yeah.
Or if you must have an opinion, is your opinion helpful or is it there to just make someone feel worse?
Yeah.
If it's there to make someone feel worse, have your opinion and keep it to yourself.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all have our own point of views. We'll always have something to say about another thing. So the question here is, whatever you're saying, is it a good thing? Is it a positive message? If it's positive, then by all means share, because we need upliftment. We need people who help you stand up, not people who help you stay on the ground. So if your message is negative or your opinion is negative, then by all means keep it to yourself.